It's April 6th today, and it's a gorgeous day. It's plus 15 degrees, and Nala and I are out for one of our shed hunts for this spring. We've actually been out a couple times before where there was a whole bunch more snow, and luckily enough, Nala was able to find a matched set on one of our travels through the snow. And I know when I was going out there, it was early, as all the bucks haven't dropped their antlers yet, but it's been a few weeks now. There's a little bit less snow on these south-facing hills, and I'm hoping that we can find some more antlers on our expedition today. One of the things I love about shed hunting in the spring is finding new sign in different areas. So this is obviously a rub that hasn't really been in this area before, but there's obviously been a buck that has been here doing its thing. So it might be an area that I want to explore a little bit more in the future. The other part is finding some game trails that you might not know really exist in the other times of the year. Finding tracks and pounded areas in snow might reveal game trails that once have been overlooked. As I'm walking up to one of my spots, I am seeing that there's a couple big crows nearby, so I'm going to check this area a little bit. Maybe there's a dead animal in the area and they're feeding on it. I don't really hear them making any noise, but there's definitely a few of them that are around, perched on trees. We'll see what we find. I'm shed hunting in the areas that I hunt. So this is the tree stand that I put up on my communication station last year with a licking branch and a big community scrape that shows up here each and every time. So the deer still travel this area to get between feeding and bedding, and I will definitely look at some of those travel paths to see if they've dropped any antlers along the way in those areas. So it looks like my suspicion with the crows in the area was right, as I found a skull, some vertebrae, another piece of vertebrae, some legs, and also a big pile of hair, which is all that's left of the hide. So I walked through here probably about a month ago, and that wasn't there. So good reminder for myself and maybe for everyone else that predator control, especially in your hunting areas, is important. And as I'm standing here talking and I look up just 5 yards ahead of where I am, it looks to be the rest of it. I'll take a closer look. Maybe it's 2 different kills, maybe it's 1. So I'm thinking that this is 2 different kills, because that other skull that I found with part of the vertebrae had its jawbone and everything there as well. This carcass still has his skull intact, and from a couple little bumps on here, this was a yearling buck. Predator control. It's that important. So this is my Wise Eye cellular cam setup that I've had this winter, and I've used it to feed in hopes that deer would shed their antlers on the feed pile for me, but that hasn't happened this year. I've had many bucks and does and raccoons and coyotes come across this spot, but nothing has been left for me. The other part that I'm wondering to myself right now, as I'm looking at the feed pile and where I have my camera set up, is those 2 kills that I just showed you aren't more than 100 yards in that direction down this funnel. Kind of wondering now if me feeding them, although this is a main funnel and deer cross through here all year round, did it elevate the concentration of deer and the coyotes knew where to hunt. So right now I'm feeling a little bit bad. I'm feeling that I need to do some predator control this spring and give the moose and deer population a fighting chance where I bow hunt. Fence lines are always a hot spot for finding sheds, especially where there are game trails that cross the fence, where deers have to duck under and perhaps their antlers hit the fence and fall off, or jump over and that little bounce knocks them off. But as I'm looking at this one today, there is none to be found so far. Game trails through fields are other good spots to follow, as again they're traveling from bedding to feeding, and many times they'll fall off in the middle of the field, and you might be able to save a farmer's tractor tire by picking one up. Trails into bedding areas are also excellent spots to check. We're now into some bedding areas, following some game trails that navigate their way through there. And just over there is where I have a ladder stand. Normally moose around here, sometimes deer, but no sheds. And although I might not be finding any sheds, the walking and the hills definitely helping me shed off some of that winter weight. Whew, out of breath here. Well, I never really do good at shed hunting. This year, like I said, I've actually found 3. So the first one that I found is when I was heading out ice fishing with my buddy Dan, and I saw it on the ditch on the side of the road on the highway. So I stopped, backed up, picked it up, and once I realized where it was, it's actually, that trail is coming from a grazing lease that I actually have permission to hunt on. So the other 2 that we found later in the season was with my good trusty girl Nala here, where she's always a few steps ahead of me, and she stumbled upon a matched set, which was awesome. So she has those at home, she keeps them on her bed, she chews them occasionally, but 3 for the year on me. I'm not sure if I'm gonna get out shed hunting anymore this year, even though the snow is dissipating very fast. That spring bear season is right around the corner for me, so it's time for me to get in the bush, get set up, and get ready to hunt bears for the next month and a half. But we'll keep hiking a little bit today and see if we can come across any lucky finds along the field edge as we make our way back to the truck. Well, no finds on today's outing, but a good reminder that it's not always about the kill. It's not always about if you're going to find a shed. It's about getting outside with the ones you love. We'll see you next time right here on DOA, Dorward Outdoor Adventures.